Hello, SPSC 1195. So, physical growth and motor development. This is a really fun course, and in this video, I'll chat about your syllabus, and we'll chat about the schedule as well. Okay, so first up, I just want to give a land acknowledgement and say that I'm very pleased and happy at being able to live, work, and play on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish, as well as the Kaikut and the Coquitlam First Nations. To be able to share this beauty, and I definitely have an appreciation and love for the natural beauty that we have here in and around the Lower Mainland and all of BC, really. So definitely need to give acknowledgement there. And if I'm coming to you remotely, or if I'm working from home, I'll definitely be doing so from Vancouver, which is also the unceded territory of the Musqueam and Squamish First Nations. And I always want to encourage anyone in the class that if you want to have discussions about what the reconciliation process means to different people. I'm a settler of European descent primarily, so that's kind of my positionality in the reconciliation process. But I really hope that many feel that awareness and conversations and trying to build together into the future is the way to go. So we'll turn back to the course now, and primarily, again, if you want to chat to me about anything really in the course, always feel free to send me an email. It's located here, Connors, ERS. Some people put OR, and I don't end up getting those emails, so make sure it's ER, at douglas.ca. I'm gonna aim to have no emailing on the weekends this semester, so if you're trying to reach me, aim to get emails to me Monday to Friday. If we have like an exam on a Monday or a project or something like that, I'll try to get to those emails and make a little extra time for that on those sorts of days with those timelines. But aside from that, try to catch me Monday to Friday. Additionally, if you want to chat and maybe just get some guidance or, like I said, have any questions, I'm always happy to set up a Zoom meeting for office hours. I do have office hours posted in my office, which, depending on which campus you're on, will be at one of these two rooms. But just based off of flexibility for all of you, I really try to make myself more readily available for Zoom office hours. I understand, a lot of you are working part-time, some of you full-time jobs, and as well as school, carrying a school course load and plus life. So, I do try to be as flexible as I can with those office hours and Zoom meetings. Okay. I have some phone number here. I'd never check the voicemails. I don't even know if the phone's hooked up. So definitely email me with your questions. Okay. So what is this course? What is physical growth and motor development? Well, it's essentially an understanding and learning of how we as humans, over the course of our lifespan, not just as babies, not just as kids or adults, but over the course of our lifespan, how do we learn to move? And more so, how does our physical, our mental components, the societal levels, how does everything to come together and influence our motor development or our motor learning over the lifespan? And it's a pretty big a task to take on, but again, we really kind of like break it down into components and end up it ends up getting a good understanding of that whole lifespan and how we move. And for many of you, regardless of what level of health influence you're hoping to get into, definitely, this is a really great course if you ever plan on working with children in any capacity, which a lot of volunteer positions often are. But even as adults or young adults, if you're hoping to coach them, understanding where many people have come from in order to get to that point in their adult life where they're at a certain maybe high performance athletics or maybe just general population, especially if you're like looking at physio or personal training like that. It definitely like augments and makes that understanding greater for sure. So that's kind of the main aspect and component of the course that we're taking on together. But there will be other little components as well where we get to do something called FMS, or Fundamental Movement Skills. And that's actually a coaching certification that all of you can get. You just need to do a couple extra steps, and I'll explain what that is in another video or on our first day, because there's a little bit involved there. Okay. As far as our textbooks and resources, students ask if they need to purchase the textbook. We do have an assignment that revolves around the textbook in particular, as well as we do follow the text quite a bit in class. So I would encourage it, but it's not necessary. I really base and set up my lectures as essentially to be take-home notes that you can study from. The thing or the caution that I'd add onto there, or the note, would be if you need more detail than just the notes in the lecture, yeah, it might be worthwhile investing in the textbook and trying to resell it next semester or whatever. But that being said, the NCCP, which is a coaching certification program, the one that I was just mentioned previously, that's free. So it's just online. It's a PDF that you'll end up working through and handing in. If you want a physical hard copy, which I know not everyone does, you're going to have to submit it electronically anyway. So I'd encourage you just to keep it all electronic. But if you really, really need pen to paper for your studies and your notes, you can get one for $5. That's printed off at the bookstore. Okay. On that note, about technology, 'tis the world and life that we live in now. So phones, laptops, or whatever, watches, all of this sort of stuff. Obviously we use it in class to learn, right? So I'm definitely not going to have any no technology rules, that's for sure. But I really, really want to emphasize being respectful and considerate with your technology use. So even though you might have your friends around you or maybe not, and and you think that maybe you're just looking at your phone and messaging or scrolling or something like that, it really can be disruptive to the students around you. So I really, really, really discourage use of any electronics in class for anything other than the classwork that we're focusing on. If you absolutely need to take a call or a text or something like it's emergency, head on, just feel free to leave the room and do that. Or when we take little moments to do activities, go ahead and do that sort of activities then. But I, if anything, want to encourage you to just turn it all off, mute it. This is your time you've set aside for yourself that you're paying for to learn. Right, to gain knowledge, to be able to apply at some point in time in your life down the road. So give yourself a break from all the alerts and all the attention grabbing clickbait and whatever's out there, so just enjoy the class. Okay. As far as college policies, I'm not going to go through them all. You have it here. Ultimately, the outline, being a considerate, kind, and honest student. If there's any issues that ever arise with that, I promise you there's going to be a policy here regarding it, and there will be consequences in line with whatever the infraction is. Okay, so really, really important for me that everyone feels safe and comfortable in class. And if I feel that's being infringed upon, things will be changed quickly. So As far as academic integrity and dishonesty and stuff, again, consequences will be all the way up to and to being expelled from school. And once you are thrown out of one university, typically there's a question on almost every other university application. Have you been expelled from a school before or from a post-secondary institution? And if you say yes, that largely hinders your capacity to get in. So I'd highly encourage you to reconsider any moments that you might be considering doing something considered either academic dishonesty or academic fraud. Okay, but again, the policies are outlined here. If you feel you're concerned that you might be infringing on one of those, please have a read through here. Okay. Yeah, that's that. On the other side, something really great and important to check out is the college resources. These are things the university has set up to help you, the student. There's accessibility services, and they'll provide support for those that might have like learning, either disabilities or needing support that way, and a few other things that are just trying to remove barriers to your learning. So if you find you're struggling, that could be a good access point. The Learning Center is great as well. It helps support you with studies. Doug Life, while it's been a little low key during COVID times, now I'm sure it'll hopefully keep moving forward, and you'll see them more and more around campus. The library and online learning resources for you here. In this class, you'll actually have one in-library session where you're going to go and you're going to learn about how to properly APA cite, as well as how to perform searches. Google is great. It's very intuitive, and unfortunately, library databases and academic with peer-reviewed resources are not always so intuitive to find what you need. So this will help you with that. Okay, course policies. So this course is primarily face-to-face. With that being said, as you might know, we're going to have content online, and that could range from anything from updates, announcements, videos like this, or potentially quizzes, or for sure lectures are going to be posted online. So if you ever want to get to a lecture that's been previously done or is coming up for your note-taking and stuff, it's going to be there. So you don't need to worry about that in class trying to copy down everything. And the one thing I'll note with the online aspect of the course is the announcements. Announcements will always update you with anything new and going on with the course. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you triple ensure that you're getting all the emails from announcements. You should have already gotten one potentially with this video in it. If you're not, definitely check out the help function on Blackboard and figure out how to ensure you're getting those. For example, if there's a snow day or a class is canceled because I'm not well, or anything has come up, you're gonna find out through the announcements. Okay, if I've been getting 3 or 4 emails from students asking a particular question, I might hold off on answering them specifically and give an announcement update to the entire class, because I probably feel answering that question is going to be beneficial for everyone. Okay, so for sure, make sure you're able to do that, and also have a look around on Blackboard. There's some tutorials that are out there, or I've posted, that will just help you get a lay of the land as far as the learning management system of Blackboard, if you're not already familiar with it. Okay, knowing where to find information is really, really important. So please take time to do that. Again, I mentioned contacting me. I have my email here again for you. When you're emailing me, please have your name, class, and section somewhere in there, ideally in the heading, or in the subject. It's just, I have quite a few classes going on, different sections of the same class, and just to be able to better get to the resources that I need to help you, please include that information. Similarly, I want to encourage you, and part of your mark is coming from this, where try to be at least somewhat professional in your emails. I definitely get what's more like text messages from students rather than emails, and I want to try to encourage you to practice that professionalism. It doesn't need to be formal in your emails, but definitely having some level of professionalism is highly encouraged. Okay. Yeah, and I have some little pointers and guidelines here. Additionally, just in and around emails, I want to make a point here. I do get a lot. So if, for example, you write this beautifully long, heartfelt email asking me a couple of questions, but also filling me in on a situation perhaps, that's great. If you get like a one sentence reply or something that seems a little short, I'm not angry. I'm not, there's no emotion tied to it. It's probably, I'm just trying to get through tens and tens and tens of emails in a reasonable amount of time. If you don't hear back from me right away, typically what's going on is I'm waiting for some information from someone else, or waiting until I can gather enough information to give a good reply. Or another possibility is I'm waiting to make an announcement to the class regarding what you've asked. Okay. That being said, if it's not the weekend and 72 hours have passed, or 48 hours or so, and you still haven't really heard anything from me, you can just be like, hey, just checking in, send me another email. Just to make sure that you're bumped up in the queue again and you're not missed. I'll definitely get to it as soon as I see it and I'm able to give an appropriate response. Okay. Submitting assignments. Again, this goes with the familiarization of online content. So there may or may not be a part for it quite yet, or a link, but there will be somewhere on the left-hand margin, quite close to the top, that says assignments. That's where I'll get you to hand in your assignments electronically, okay? Unless otherwise stipulated, I want it handed in person. It'll be online, okay? So figuring out how to do that. There's help tutorials, I believe, right on Blackboard if you look at Blackboard help, or you can Google them, find them on YouTube, how to submit an assignment on Blackboard. There's lots of content out on that for you, okay? That being said, submit early. Time and time again, students are crunch time. It's 10:30 p.m. Assignments due at 11:59. They're pushing it and all of a sudden try to submit, and they're having trouble submitting either the correct format, or maybe something small has come up as far as your internet at home or something. It doesn't matter. If it's late, it's late. So I want to highly encourage all of you that if the deadline is on Friday at 11:59 p.m., submit it Thursday, submit it Wednesday. So you have a couple of days if there's technological issues that arise, or life issues or whatever, okay? For every day, as soon as it's midnight or 12:01 or whatever, I'll start deducting 5% a day up to 5 days. And then I'll essentially just give you 0, and it'll just be considered an incomplete assignment. Okay. With all of this said, and with the next point as far as missed exams, quizzes, etc., there's, especially now with the times that we live in, I want to encourage you that if you're not feeling well, stay home, go ahead, take care of yourself. That's really, really crucial. But just you need to communicate with me beforehand. Okay, so if a due date has passed, if an exam has occurred, etc., and you're emailing me after and trying to update me on what's going on, that's not going to be as helpful for being able to seek the support that you need as far as no late deductions or rescheduling rewrites or whatever. It needs to be done beforehand, okay? It's just as simple as that. I'm generally quite flexible if you're giving me enough notice, okay? Okay. If something does come up and you do have a medical documentation or some sort of information supporting, an emergency situation or something, of course, I'll be understanding for that. Okay. Course evaluation. So I have this up here just as a reminder that you can use as a compass for yourself. So if you get a grade back on an exam or an assignment, you're like, oh my goodness, I got a B or a B plus or whatever, and you really are trying to figure out why you didn't get an A. Well, ultimately it's because if you look at more of the qualitative assessment here, where it's good work, steady performance, good knowledge, but maybe not excellent. Okay. And so if you ever want to talk about how you can improve certain grades, either in your quizzes or assignments or whatever the case may be, I'm more than happy to give you feedback on that. I myself started, I would say, as a not an outstanding student, but I had to learn how to learn and ended up performing quite well, by the end of my academic career. So I definitely know the process, and even though it feels like maybe students around you are just innately more intelligent or something, that's really not the case. Chances are they're just putting in more effort or have put in effort in the past to learn how to learn or to learn how to produce certain standards on assignments. So yeah, it's just a learning process, right? So again, feel free to chat to me about that or refer back to this if you're curious about your grading and or how you want to improve, okay? And now, the big moment, or this was always the big moment for me, the course evaluation overview. Where are you getting these marks from? How are you going to get these grades? What are we going to be doing in this class? So first up, we're going to have 4 quizzes. Okay, so when I say quiz, it's not like a 5-mark or a 10-mark thing. It's essentially like 4 mini exams to do with each unit that we've covered. They're roughly 25 questions for multiple choice, and then maybe 12, anywhere from 10 to 20 marks for open-ended or fill-in-the-blank type questions. But they'll essentially collect each of the sections of our course into 4 parts. Okay. The assignment 1. This is a fun one in the sense that we get to have you do a video recording, okay, and then submit that. So already I'm letting you know, you will need to know how to video record a presentation. This is usually done through Zoom, Skype, whatever, some sort of feature where you can share your screen and have all your group members speak. If you want to edit that, cut it, move it around, like everyone does a different part at different times, and you put it into QuickTime and make one video, that's fine. But one video needs to be submitted where ideally I see who's doing the speaking while they're doing it and get to see your presentation, okay? And while you're doing that, you're going to be analyzing some movements and then showing how to teach a lesson, how to improve that movement. So that's a really fun one. That's really practical for a lot of you and what you want to do later, okay? And here's that FMS workbook again that I brought up at the beginning as far as what course material that you might want to get, but I'll be posting a separate video about that. Okay. The second assignment is a case study and learning how to knowledge transfer. So knowledge transfer is how do we, what's the word I'm looking for? How do we literally just transfer knowledge, and that means we have to understand our target population and we have to pick a good way to communicate that. So for all of you as intelligent, very tech typically savvy students, it's easy to create an online lecture, post it, and I know that it'll be communicated to all of you, right? I have this screen share thing where you can see this. Great, okay. Would I want to do this with a group of, not to be ageist, but 95-year-olds who might not be as tech savvy? No, probably not. So again, picking a great way to transfer some sort of health knowledge to a group population. And that's usually a fun one for most students. You can get really creative with that. Okay. And then last but not least, we got about 5% in total coming from self peer evaluations. You're going to be doing a lot of group work. So based on those groups, how did that go? And how did you feel you did in the course? And then I'll be giving you about 3% as far as how I felt your participation was in the course. And it'll be essentially a composite impression based off of demonstrated interest while in class. Did you put in effort throughout the semester? I'm not going to necessarily be considering attendance, just because it's very much up in the air. But things like, did you complete all the assignments that were provided and complete all the coursework as required? So it's really just a composite net impression based off of your participation. Emails, for example, will be considered as well, and any online work that we do in this class. Okay, great. And so here's just a little bit more of a breakdown of each. Again, I'm going to post or speak more about all of this in class. You're free to go through it ahead of time now if you want, and just get some more details for yourself.